Hey everybody, before we start this video I just wanted to interject real quick and say that most of the sets I put in this Guzzlord video, I put that he would be max health, and because of his health being so high and his defense is so low, it's actually similar to Chansey or Blissey, and that it's sometimes better to put your investment in defenses over HP. And this is a difficult concept to explain in a short amount of time, so hopefully I'll have a video out on this very soon. Alright, thanks, enjoy the video. So Guzzlord is easily one of the Pokemon that I wanted to cover the most as far as the Ultra Beasts go. He has a great move pool, his stats at first glance seem really good, he's great for mixed offense, and he has so much health, it's almost on the same level as Pokemon like Blissey. And you'd think this would make him really bulky and hard to take down, even if his defenses aren't that good. Unfortunately, his weaknesses are some of the most common offensive moves in the meta, and that double weakness to Fairy doesn't care how high your health stat is. It's going to knock you out with one Moonblast as long as they have a little bit of investment. And I think that's Guzzlord's biggest problem, is his typing almost lets him down. He's a really good Pokemon, and if he was only a single type, he would be a lot more effective. But because he has that dual weakness, and because he has a weakness to Ice, to Fighting, and to Dragon, he has a hard time in both singles and doubles doing any kind of damage at all before he's completely knocked out. Now, his stats make it look like his physical attack is better, and he does have more of a physical move pool, but his special attacks, the ones that he does get, are still really handy and can trick your opponent in the right circumstance if you were to run, say, a mixed attacker. His defenses, while very low, if you're able to get, say, one Stockpile up, it suddenly makes him a whole lot harder to knock out, because your opponent's going to be depleting that absolutely massive HP stat much more slowly. His speed at 43 may look bad at first, but he actually outspeeds a lot of the base 30, 35, and even 40 base speed Pokemon that have been introduced in this meta. Past this, he also has a good handful of resistances. In the main three elements, he resists Electric, Ghost, Dark, and he's immune to Psychic, which actually is pretty good depending on what Pokemon you decide to switch in on. Now, the first set I have for him is one that I wanted to run the most. I don't think it's that good though. That's what makes me sad, is he's just too slow to be able to set up properly and then start doing damage with that Beast Boost ability. So this set has leftovers, and it's going to max out either his attack or his special attack, whichever you prefer. Max out your HP, and then put some investment in either defense, whichever you think you'd need more. You could put 4 in speed if you prefer. It really doesn't matter what you do with the last 4 as long as you use it. But the main idea of this set is to stockpile, and that is to boost both of your defenses by 1, and you can do this up to 3 times. Make yourself as bulky as you can, and then from there you really just need the ability to do damage. So I thought you need a Dark Stab move, which could be either Crunch or Dark Pulse, depending on if you're in physical or special. They do the exact same thing, except Crunch can lower your opponent's defense and Dark Pulse can flinch if by some miracle you're faster than your opponent. Then you'd need a move to handle Fairy types. As far as physical moves, Poison Jab and Heavy Slam do the trick the best. And on the special side, you get Sludge Wave, and if for whatever reason you were running a berry, such as a Resto Chesto set, you could run Belch, which is even stronger, because it's base 120 power, but it only works after you eat your berry. For the last move, I thought if you were running a physical Guzzlord, you could run Earthquake, and if you were running special, you could run Draco. Even if you were running a physical Guzzlord, you could still run Draco Meteor, because even with no investment, a Draco Meteor is going to be doing a lot of damage to a lot of different things that could switch in if they were frailer and just switched in to knock him out and get out. So, other ideas, as I mentioned, Resto Chesto could be a good set to replace one of your offensive moves so that you can get that boosted defense, you can rest, fully heal yourself, and then your opponent has a harder time taking you down. You could also run Rest and Sleep Talk in tandem, and run that with Stockpile and then one offensive move of your choice, although this does cripple you because more than likely your opponent's going to have an answer for whatever move you decide to run. Like say if you ran just Crunch, then your opponent could very well have a bulky fairy type such as Tapu Bulu who could easily wall you. Even if you got your defense maxed out, it would outlast you and knock you out in the end. He also gets Snarl, so Pokemon that would switch in on him and hit him with a special move such as Dazzling Gleam, you could Snarl, lower their special attack, and then be able to set up a stockpile after they hit you with their weakened offenses, and hopefully you'd be able to survive and either heal up or knock them out. Now, a set that I've seen before and I've seen some people run since the meta has started to form is a choice spec set, and that's maxing out your special attack, maxing out your HP, putting a little bit in either defense, and then just running the strongest special moves you can think of. So Dark Pulse and Draco Meteor are obviously your two big stabs, then you have Sludge Wave to cover fairies, and most people like to run either Flamethrower or Fire Blast to cover steel types. You can also run Hidden Powers to catch your opponent off guard. You could run Hidden Power Ice, you could run Hidden Power Ground for the Tapu Koko switch-ins. It's really what you need, but for the most part, I think the 4 moves on the left side of the screen will be what you prefer. There's also Snarl, which we've already been over. Another set is a physical set with Choice Band or Life Orb. Same basic idea. 4 really strong moves, one that hits fairies, one that stab, and then you have Earthquake, Hammer Arm, or Stone Edge. You could also run Shadow Claw or Gyro Ball, but the same tricks over and over with this Pokemon, even though it gets so many different moves, makes it very predictable and very easy for your opponent to just switch in, say take a hit, and then do more damage than you can. And the problem with that also is there's so many fairies in this current meta that Guzzlord just does not have a chance to shine. He's a lot like Komodo in that fairies just absolutely shut him down. Now, the last set I actually think has a chance, probably more so in doubles than in singles, but it's a Trick Room Hacks set. And what you would run on this is either Life Orb or Leftovers. You run a Brave Nature, which boosts your attack while reducing your speed. You'd want to max out your HP and attack again, but you'd want to run minimum speed IVs as well. So the idea is that somebody else on your team sets up a Trick Room, and you either switch in if you're in singles or you're already in if you're in doubles, and then you get to wreck shop. You outspeed almost anything that's not, say, an uninvested Mudsdale or something very, very slow, perhaps a Pyukumuku. And then you can run Rock Slide, which is a great VGC option because of the 30% chance to flinch. And if you paired this thing with Oranguru, you could get 2 Rock Slides off in a single turn. You could also run Gyro Ball, which since your minimum speed and the Trick Room's up, not only do you go before almost every fairy in the game, you probably knock them out in one shot just because some fairies who were introduced this meta have quite a bit of speed, even if they only take neutral damage from Gyro Ball. You'd also want to run either Crunch or Draco Meteor. I think Crunch would be better, but there's always room for Draco Meteor on some movesets. Even if you have no investment, it's just a good extra move to carry, and since you're running a Brave Nature, you're not reducing your special attack, so that means it hits even harder. The last move, you could run Protect if it was a doubles team so that you didn't get knocked out turn 1 while your partner was setting up the Trick Room, or you could just run any kind of coverage that we've already been over. He also gets the move Steamroller, which I thought was kind of funny. It's a bug type base 65 power move that has a 30% chance to flinch, so it's kind of like a weakened bug type Iron Head, and if you really need the bug coverage on your team, then you could run that and try to flinch your opponents out. Really, I think Guzzlord is a great Pokemon, but in the end, he'll be one of the few that will not be banned from the new OU metagame, in my opinion, because even though he's strong, he's far too slow and he's far too weak to fairy types to really stand out and be something great. So, if you think differently, if you think he's amazing, he'll be the next Pokemon that's banned, if you think anything different than I do, please let me know in the comments. Like, you can hold back on your insults, but just let me know how you feel about him because I genuinely want to know.